Hello there! I made this video for those of you who might be interested in character education. It is based on a workshop I offered for teachers at my current school, the International School Nido de Águilas in Chile. The presentation also got selected for the 2015 ASA conference in Curaçao. I wanted this presentation to have a practical approach, so expect to engage in hands-on activities as well as to find in here a methodology to start teaching character in your classroom. Okay, so let's start. As I said, the objective of this presentation is to expose and discuss the innovations I have carried out in my classroom in order to teach character to my students alongside the core curriculum, or, if you prefer, the academic curriculum. Hopefully this will give you ideas to start applying in your own teaching practice. The hypothesis that fueled this research was that teaching character intentionally and systematically will boost your academic curriculum. For some years, I had this gut feeling, but it wasn't until 2 years ago that I decided to directly research the effect of non-cognitive factors in learning. The bibliography that supports this presentation is wide, but these are the authors that I chose to focus on because they are the ones I thought were most up-to-date and active in their research. Dr. Carol Dweck and her investigation on mindset. We have also Angela Duckworth and her research on self-control and grit. There's a great TED Talk you can watch. Dr. Martin Seligman, founder of the VIA Institute on Character. Dr. Walter Mischel, also with his investigation on self-control. The marshmallow experiment, perhaps you're familiar with that. This is experiment derived into the concept of psychological distancing, super related to self-control. And last but not least, Dave Levin and Michael Feinberg, who are the founders of the KIPP program in the States. The Knowledge is Power program is a nonprofit network of college preparatory public charter schools serving elementary, middle, and high school students. I had the pleasure of taking an online course given by Dave called Teaching Character and Building Positive Classrooms. There, he exposes the KIPP method and practical strategies. This is the method I adopted and the one I am about to share with you. Adapted, of course, to my classroom and to my kids. So this presentation's overview looks like this. First, we will focus on the what. What is character and what are the character strengths? We will do a hands-on activity there, or two actually. Then we will go into the how. We will see how the classroom design can contribute to teaching character. We will go into what micro-moments are and how the KIPP method uses them. And finally, we're going to go into macrostructures, which help us really plan and design broader curricular activities and start shaping a parallel character curriculum. So let's go. What is character? This is the first question that we're going to ask ourselves. Now, I need to start from a premise, right? Let's see if we're on the same page with this. In today's world, we should conceive schools not only as places where we produce learners, but also as a place where we build well-being. In this scenario, helping our kids to know and develop their own character will be essential. So, what is character? According to Dr. Martin Seligman, character is what helps people flourish. In other words, it is the set of strengths a person has that contribute to his or her well-being. Dr. Seligman has also said that these strengths are what free and non-suffering people tend to choose and move towards too.
Well, first question is what's character? So character in Chris Peterson and my hands was the set of strengths that contributed to well-being that every parent wanted for every child, that every religion, every politics across time has agreed on. So those are the strengths of character.
He has proposed a very useful acronym to better understand what character is or what character leads to. This is PERMA. According to Dr. Seligman, the more character you have, the more PERMA you have. So, character leads to PERMA, and PERMA leads to flourishing. If you're wondering why I have a backbone here, well, it is because character strengths are the backbone of PERMA. Now, let's see what PERMA is. The P stands for positive emotion, which basically means happiness. Then you have the E for engagement, the R for relationships, positive relationships. The M is for meaning and purpose. And finally, the A is the sense of accomplishment. In general, learning is subsumed by the A, accomplishment. This is because the others amplify the A and vice versa. This is pretty cool because all these elements of PERMA have a bidirectional relationship with character strengths. When character strengths are developed and consciously addressed, PERMA increases. At the same time, when PERMA increases, character strengths are developed. The same thing happens with learning in your classroom. If you intentionally work on character with your students, learning will increase because PERMA will increase. Students will have a sense of accomplishment, they will feel that the class has meaning and purpose, which at the same time will increase engagement, contributing to a general positive emotion and better relationships inside the classroom. Now take a look at this. Dr. Seligman and his team at the VIA Institute, after 3 years of research, came up with about 100 or so strengths. These 24 are the ones that they felt and decided that had a bigger impact in student achievement. Okay? And this takes us to our first hands-on activity. Okay? So, what I want you to do is to look at this list and think of your students. Which of these strengths are most important for their success? That is the question. So please take the time. Hopefully, even you can discuss it with a peer, with someone. What are the strengths that are most important for your students' success? Okay, so now it becomes interesting. You have selected your 7 character strengths, the ones that you think that are most important for student success, and you have ranked them from 1 to 7. Okay? This is our second hands-on activity. And now we're going to ask ourselves, what are my own character strengths? Okay? Now for this, of course, we're going to be serious about it and we're going to take the VI Institute online test. This is a free test. And after we have seen what are our own character strengths, we are going to ask ourselves 2 questions, okay? Where do these rankings overlap? The ones that you selected for your students and the ones that are actually your own. And where do they diverge? And then, of course, the idea is to share our observations, okay? Copy and follow the link in blue, and I'll take you through the page. In case it is hard to read, the link is http://www.viacharacter.org/survey/account/register. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this. First, of course, copy the link I told you over here in the bar menu. Hit go, and it'll take you to the VIA Character webpage. The first thing you have to do is register. So type in your name, your last name, your email address, and then, of course, you have to hit the VIA survey for adults. You decide on those two, and then finally you have to hit register. Okay, so you are taken to this page. Once again, you have to select to take the VIA survey for adults and hit here, take survey, and you will direct it to the survey. It says, please choose one option in response to each statement. All of the questions reflect statements that many people would find desirable, but we want you to answer only in terms of whether the statement describes what you are like. Okay, remember this is private, so this is just for you. You don't need to be perfect here or anything. Um, well, and they advise it as well. Please be honest and accurate. We cannot rank your strengths until you answer all of this 120 questions. So this will take you about 20 minutes, guys. So please take the time to do that. And um, even though it is not said, neutral answers will give you perhaps less information about yourself. So try to really determine if you are more inclined to this side or to this side. And some you are really going to be neutral, but if you tend to put all neutral, it won't give you like the information that you're looking for. Okay? So happy testing. There you go. So, what did you find out? Let's remember our two questions. Where does the ranking of your students overlap with the one you got? And where do these both rankings diverge? Please take a look at this example. In red, you see what an adult ranked for his or her students, and in green, you can see what that adult, that teacher, got. This is an example that Dave Levine presented in the course I took with him. As you can see, this teacher had self-control in the fourth place as key for student success. However, in his own ranking, self-control appeared in place 24. Did anything like that happen to you? In my own case, the same thing happened for several of these character strengths. In regards to grit and self-control, when I was taking the test and was answering the questions, I could not ignore the endless times I have started a diet and failed to pursue it, or those times, very recurrent, when I overreact or react impulsively when talking to my sister. Well, in any case, self control ranked in place 23 and grit in place 20. Pretty far down in the list, even though I think those are two strengths that are essential for my student success. This is a very interesting exercise because it helps you realize that we are all learners and that in character education, at least, we are in this together, students and teachers. The following quote by African American novelist James Baldwin is food for thought. It says, children have never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. These 24 character strengths lead to flourishing across class, gender, culture, geography, our usual dividers. These 24 character strengths, as you saw, come in different combinations, and it is also important to mention that they are not static. On the contrary, they can and hopefully should change. This is why Dave Levine emphasizes that we call them strengths and not traits. Now, in order to be better able to work with these strengths inside the classroom, the KIP team selected the 7 strengths that they determined had the greatest impact at school and were predictive of positive life outcomes. These are the 7 character strengths that I also adopted for my classroom and my students. As you can see below, I also gave each one an image, an icon, so that students could also refer back to them as images. Please remember that as a resource, you always have the VIA Institute webpage, where you can find everything about character strengths. You can navigate it and select, for example, let's select gratitude. And you have the descriptors here. There's also another tab where you can actually download a document with all the descriptors. And the webpage is pretty cool because, as you can see, you can scroll down and you find examples of movies that talk about gratitude or, or that show gratitude, songs, etc. Also, a very cool thing to do is to take the VIA survey you just took more than once. I personally take it once a year. It is pretty cool to observe how, in fact, these are malleable and how some years might be marked by certain strengths that respond to the challenges you've faced. You can even set an intention about a certain character strength, and within a year, you will see how you actually work on it and you develop it. So that's pretty cool too. Okay, so now we've reached the how to teach character, and we're going to focus in three things: your classroom design, your micro moments, and macro structures. You might be asking yourself, the looks of my classroom? What does it have to do with teaching character and student achievement? Well, I read a book that told the story of how KIP was founded, and Harriet Ball turns out to be a teacher that really inspired Dave Levin and Michael Feinberg. And she said that every wall in your classroom should irradiate excitement. And this is very true. Kids should feel welcomed into your classroom. Now, what's super important as well is to have displayed out for them the character behavior language. Kids should be able to look around and find the character strengths that will basically be at the base of everything they do in your classroom. So as you can see here, I made these posters with each of the 7 character strengths and also the icon that we're going to associate to them. I put them at the very front of the class along with my flowers to differentiate type of questions, but as you can see, they are right there for the students to refer back to whenever they need to. The second part of the how to teach character is the micro moment. And for this, we're going to use the micro moment triangle.